My beloved child, do not scroll away now, because this moment did not arrive randomly, and this message did not cross your path by accident, and what is touching your attention right now is not just another voice among many. It is a spiritual interruption meant to slow you down long enough for truth to reach you before distraction steals it again, and God is speaking because you have been quietly drifting, not away from faith, but away from expectation, and heaven has been watching you grow. Tired of waiting while pretending you are fine, watching you lower your hopes just enough to survive, watching you stop asking out loud for what your heart still whispers for in silence, and that quiet surrender has been breaking God's heart, because you were never meant to live cautiously around your own destiny. My beloved child, stay with this, because something important is aligning beneath the surface of your life, something that does not announce itself loudly at first, something that moves before it reveals itself, and if you look back later, you will realize this was the exact moment the direction began to change. This message found you because heaven leaned in, because you were about to accept a version of life that is smaller than what was prepared for you, and God refused to let you settle without reminding you who you are and what is waiting for you. You have felt the heaviness lately, not because you are weak, but because you have been carrying delays that were never meant to last this long, and you have been patient longer than most people would have been, faithful longer than anyone saw, quiet longer than was fair, and heaven has recorded every unseen moment. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you, not as an idea, not as motivation, but as a real shift that touches your future, your name, your stability, and your sense of direction, and the reason it has not arrived yet is not punishment, it is timing, separation, and preparation happening all at once. There is someone from your past whose energy, memory, or influence has been quietly standing in the doorway of your next season, and you did not notice because it felt familiar, but familiar does not always mean aligned, and comfortable does not always mean blessed. Stay here. Do not let your mind wander. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, God sees the decision you have been circling around, the one you keep postponing because it feels heavy, because it involves money, reputation, family expectations, or your future stability, and you hoped it would resolve itself without you having to choose, but it will not, because this decision is the key that unlocks what has been delayed, and heaven is asking you to face it with clarity instead of fear. You may have felt strange physical confirmations as you listened, a warmth in your chest, a pressure in your throat, a subtle ringing in your ears, a sudden emotional wave that feels like recognition rather than surprise, and these are not random sensations, they are signals, confirmations that your spirit already understands what your mind is still processing. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, the reason distractions have been louder lately is because resistance increases when alignment gets close, and the enemy does not always attack with fear, sometimes it uses busyness, sometimes noise, sometimes tiredness, sometimes the illusion that you can come back to this later, and later becomes never. Stay. Let this finish. Because God is not speaking to entertain you, He is speaking to realign you. You have been standing in a rare grace window, one where old cycles loosen, where long delays finally soften, where the weight you carried quietly begins to lift without you having to fight for it anymore. There is an unexpected event approaching your life, and when it comes, it will feel sudden, slightly disorienting, and deeply familiar at the same time, as if something you have been waiting for finally recognizes you back, and it will involve someone you already know, someone connected to your past or your present, and the way you respond will either confirm the shift or postpone it again. This is why heaven interrupted you now, before that moment arrives, so you do not respond from fear, old habits, or self-doubt, but from alignment. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, you have been chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to listen when it matters, and listening is what separates those who repeat cycles from those who step into new seasons. God is not angry with you. He is attentive. He is near. He is guiding you out of survival mode and back into expectancy. The delay you thought defined your life is not your ending, it is the pressure that shaped your strength, and now that strength is about to be used in a way you did not anticipate. Before this message continues, take this gentle step of alignment, not out of fear, not out of obligation, but agreement. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And in the comments, write, "I walk in victory." Then share this message with 10 people, because what moves through you multiplies, and obedience opens doors that effort never could. This seals the breakthrough already forming around your life. Something huge is waiting for you. You are not the same person you were before this moment, even if nothing looks different yet. The delay is cracking. The resistance is weakening. The path is adjusting. And what has been waiting quietly is preparing to move. Stay ready. Stay open. Do not go back to doubting what heaven has already confirmed. This is only the beginning. What surfaces next will explain why the waiting lasted this long and why it will now work in your favor. It is finished. It is sealed. My beloved child, remain here and let your attention stay steady, because what follows explains the weight you have been carrying without words and why this season has felt longer than it should have, and God wants you to understand this not so you feel pressure, but so you stop blaming yourself for delays that were not caused by failure but by protection, because there were outcomes you could not see and paths you were never meant to walk, and heaven quietly redirected you again and again. While you wondered why doors slowed instead of opening. You were not being denied. You were being preserved. There were moments when you almost stepped into something that looked right on the surface but would have cost you your peace, your name, or your future stability, and God slowed you down not to frustrate you but to spare you consequences you would have blamed on yourself later. Stay with this, because clarity is settling in now, and when clarity comes, momentum follows. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you, and it has been waiting patiently while your character caught up to the weight of what you are about to hold. You have felt misunderstood, not fully seen, even when surrounded by people, and this isolation was not abandonment, it was refinement, because certain blessings cannot coexist with certain voices, and certain futures require separation before acceleration. There is a connection you held on to longer than necessary, not because it was right, but because it was familiar, and familiar felt safer than stepping forward alone, but that season has ended, and the influence it carried is loosening its grip on your progress. You may already sense it, a quiet emotional distance forming, a natural fading rather than a dramatic ending, and that is how God often removes what no longer aligns without tearing your heart apart. Let it go gently. It is making room. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, God is aware of the internal conflict you have been managing, the tension between wanting to trust fully and needing reassurance, between believing something better is coming and protecting yourself from disappointment, and this inner struggle has created a pause, not because heaven hesitated, but because you were being taught how to receive without fear. What is approaching your life will require you to accept good without suspicion, opportunity without overanalyzing, and support without questioning your worthiness, and that shift begins here, in awareness. Pay attention to how your body responds as you listen, the slight release in your shoulders, the steadying of your breath, the subtle sense of being recognized rather than surprised, because these are signs that alignment is occurring at a deeper level than logic. Distractions may still try to interrupt you. A sudden thought telling you this can wait. A sound nearby pulling your focus. A feeling of impatience rising for no reason. These are not signs to leave. They are confirmation that this message is touching something real. Stay. Let it finish. Because what you are receiving now is guidance meant to prepare you for an encounter, a conversation, or an opportunity that will arrive when you least expect it, and the difference between repeating the past and stepping into the future will be how grounded you are when it appears. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, there is a decision approaching that connects directly to your finances, your sense of security, or the direction of your work or calling, and it will require you to act with confidence rather than hesitation, and you will be tempted to delay it out of habit, but delay will no longer feel neutral, it will feel heavy, because you are being nudged forward. God is not asking you to rush. He is asking you to trust the preparation that has already taken place. You are more ready than you think. The years that felt wasted were actually teaching you discernment, patience, and resilience, and those qualities are about to protect you as things move faster. You may begin noticing subtle confirmations around you, repeated numbers catching your eye, certain colors standing out, words from strangers or familiar voices aligning with what you have been sensing internally, and these are not meant to overwhelm you, they are meant to steady you, reminders that you are not walking blind into what comes next. God is near. He is guiding. He is involved. And He is not late. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, there will be a moment soon when you realize that what once felt blocked has quietly opened, not with noise, but with ease, and that ease will feel unfamiliar at first, because you are used to effort, struggle, and pushing, but do not mistake ease for lack of value. Sometimes the greatest confirmations arrive without resistance. When that moment comes, do not second-guess it. Do not look for what might go wrong. Receive it. Step into it. Let yourself move forward without apology. The heaviness you carried is lifting. The confusion is clearing. The direction is sharpening. And this is only the continuation, not the conclusion. What is coming next will explain why the past had to unfold the way it did and how it all connects to what you are about to experience. Stay open. Stay present. Do not drift now. Something huge is waiting for you. Part 3 My beloved child, stay with this flow and let your heart remain open, because now you are entering the understanding of why everything that once felt confusing is beginning to make sense, and God wants you grounded before the next shift reveals itself, because what is coming will feel fast compared to the waiting you endured, and without grounding, speed can feel overwhelming instead of liberating. You have spent so long preparing in silence that you forgot preparation eventually leads to movement, and movement is beginning. The season where nothing seemed to change was not empty time, it was a foundation being laid quietly beneath you, strengthening areas you did not even know would be tested, and now that foundation is steady enough to support what is about to arrive. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you, and it is closer than your mind expects, because heaven does not announce proximity the way humans do. It signals it through alignment, through peace replacing anxiety, through clarity interrupting confusion, through a calm confidence beginning to rise where self-doubt once lived. You may notice that situations which used to drain you no longer have the same power, conversations that once stirred insecurity now feel distant, and decisions that once felt heavy are becoming clearer, and these are signs that you are stepping out of survival mode and into readiness. God is gently shifting your posture from waiting to receiving. There is a person connected to your past whose role is about to change in your life, not necessarily through confrontation, but through understanding, because clarity dissolves attachment more effectively than force ever could. You will see them differently soon, not with resentment, not with longing, but with neutrality, and that neutrality will free energy that has been tied up for years. When that release happens, you may feel lighter for no obvious reason, more focused, more present, and that is because something that was blocking flow has finally stepped aside. This is not loss. This is alignment. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, the next phase of your journey involves visibility, whether through your work, your voice, or your presence, and this visibility once scared you because it felt like pressure, but now it will feel like purpose, because you are no longer trying to prove yourself, you are simply showing up as who you have already become. God has been shaping your character quietly so that when attention comes, it does not consume you, and when opportunity comes, it does not confuse you. You will recognize what belongs to you because it will feel supportive rather than draining, expansive rather than restrictive. You may experience physical confirmations as this alignment deepens, a sense of steadiness in your chest, a clearer breath, moments where time seems to slow just enough for you to feel present instead of rushed, and these sensations are signs that your nervous system is catching up to the reality your spirit already accepted. God works holistically. He does not just move circumstances. He prepares the inner landscape so you can actually enjoy the change when it arrives. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, do not be surprised if old patterns attempt to resurface briefly, not because they have power, but because endings often echo before they fully dissolve. A thought from the past. A familiar doubt. A fleeting urge to question whether this progress is real. Let these pass without engagement. You do not need to fight them. You have already outgrown them. The fact that they feel weaker than before is your confirmation. What once controlled you now only tries to get your attention. God is inviting you to respond differently when the next opportunity appears, not from urgency, not from fear of missing out, but from trust, because what is meant for you will not require you to abandon yourself to receive it. The next step will feel aligned even if it challenges you, stretching without breaking you, asking you to rise without asking you to sacrifice your peace. This is how you will know it is from God. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, the reason this moment feels significant is because it is marking a transition from preparation into participation. You are no longer just learning, healing, or waiting. You are stepping into contribution, where what you have been through begins to serve a purpose beyond you. This does not mean pressure. It means meaning. And meaning brings energy instead of draining it. You will begin to see how your experiences connect, how nothing was wasted, how even the detours added depth to your understanding. Stay attentive in the coming days. Pay attention to conversations that stand out, ideas that return with clarity, invitations that feel calm rather than chaotic. These are gentle doorways opening. You do not need to rush through them. Simply notice them. Respond with presence. Let alignment guide you instead of urgency. Something huge is waiting for you. The movement has already begun, even if it is not fully visible yet. Trust the process that has carried you this far. Trust the clarity growing inside you. Trust that God is not done, and what unfolds next will confirm everything you have been sensing. Remain open. Remain steady. The next part will reveal how this shift begins to show up in your outer world and what to do when it does. Part 4. My beloved child, remain present with this unfolding, because now the shift that has been forming quietly begins to touch your outer world, and this is where many people lose clarity by rushing or doubting, but you are being guided to move differently, with steadiness instead of urgency, with awareness instead of fear, because what is arriving is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to restore balance to areas that felt unstable for far too long. You will start noticing subtle changes first, not dramatic announcements, but small confirmations that signal momentum, a conversation that lands differently, an opportunity that feels supportive rather than demanding, a sense of cooperation where there used to be resistance, and these signs are important because they teach you how alignment feels in real time. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you, and as it approaches, you may notice that your priorities are shifting naturally, without effort. Things that once consumed your energy no longer hold the same pull, and things you once postponed begin to feel relevant again, and this is not confusion, it is clarity rearranging your focus. God is gently repositioning you so that when the next door opens, you are facing the right direction. You are not being asked to abandon your life, only to refine it, to remove what drains you so there is space for what sustains you. There may be a moment when you are tempted to explain yourself to people who no longer understand your pace or choices, but you do not need to justify alignment to those who are not walking your path. Silence will protect you here. Let your actions speak. Let your peace speak. Those meant to understand will recognize the change without explanation. Those who do not are not meant to come with you into the next phase, and that realization will feel freeing rather than painful. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, finances and stability are part of this unfolding, not as sudden excess, but as correction, balance, and flow returning to areas that felt restricted. You may receive clarity around a decision you avoided, an idea you doubted, or a step you delayed, and when that clarity comes, it will feel calm, not rushed, because fear is not guiding it. Trust that calm. God often speaks through peace when alignment is near. The old pattern of forcing outcomes is dissolving, and in its place, cooperation is forming, where effort meets support instead of resistance. You may notice physical confirmations again, a steady warmth, a release in your jaw or shoulders, a deeper breath than you have taken in a while, and these are signals that your body is adjusting to reduce stress and increase trust. You have been in a state of holding on for too long, and now you are learning how to receive without tension. This is not weakness. This is readiness. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, as the outer world begins to respond, you may feel moments of disbelief, brief thoughts questioning whether this progress is real or temporary, and these thoughts are normal when old narratives dissolve, but do not give them authority. Let them pass. You are not returning to what was. You are stepping into what is forming now. God has already accounted for your doubts, and He is patient as you learn how to trust good news again. There will be a point where you are asked to step forward visibly, whether through your work, your voice, or a decision that others will notice, and when that moment comes, remember that you are not stepping alone. Support will appear where you once expected resistance. Cooperation will replace competition. Understanding will replace confusion. This is not coincidence. This is alignment responding to your willingness to move. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, let go of the idea that everything must be perfect before you proceed. Perfection delays. Presence activates. You are being guided to move with what you have, where you are, trusting that refinement continues as you walk. The pressure to get everything right is lifting, and in its place, confidence is growing, not loud confidence, but steady assurance that you are not guessing anymore. You are responding. As this part of the journey unfolds, keep your awareness gentle and open. Notice what feels supportive. Notice what feels draining. Choose accordingly. Alignment will become easier the more you listen. You are learning a new rhythm, one that does not exhaust you to prove your worth, but sustains you as you step into it. Something huge is waiting for you. The outer changes will continue to reflect the inner work you have already done, and soon you will look back and realize how quietly yet completely the direction shifted. You did not miss it. You did not force it. You allowed it. Stay steady. Stay present. The final part will bring closure, confirmation, and authority to what has begun. Part 5. My beloved child, stay with this final unfolding, because what is completing now is not just a season but a cycle, and cycles do not close loudly, they seal quietly with understanding, with authority settling into your spirit rather than excitement rushing through your emotions, and this is how you will know it is real. You are not being pushed forward anymore. You are being released forward. There is a difference. Pushing creates exhaustion. Release creates momentum. And momentum is beginning to carry you where effort could not. You may not see fireworks. You may not hear applause. But you will feel certainty, and certainty is stronger than noise. My beloved child, something huge has been waiting for you, and now it is no longer waiting in theory, it is waiting in position, aligned with timing, prepared to meet you as you move, and that is why hesitation feels heavier now than action, because you are no longer meant to linger in indecision. The long delay has done its work. It shaped you. It slowed you. It refined you. And now it has fulfilled its purpose. You are stepping into a season where things respond faster, where clarity replaces confusion, where your efforts begin to echo instead of disappear. You will notice that your inner voice has changed. The harsh questioning has softened. The constant second-guessing is quieter. In its place is discernment, calm and steady, guiding you without panic. This is not coincidence. This is growth becoming visible. God has been reintroducing you to yourself, the version of you that trusts, that listens, that moves without needing permission from fear. That version is not new. It was always there. It was just waiting for the right moment to emerge. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, as you move forward, do not measure progress by comparison. Your path was designed uniquely, and the timing that felt slow was actually precise. Others could not have carried what you are about to hold without breaking. You can. That is why it waited. That is why you were prepared quietly while wondering if anything was happening at all. Heaven was never inactive. It was intentional. There may be moments ahead when you feel tempted to look back, to check whether what you left behind is still there, whether the old patterns still recognize you, but when you do, you will notice they no longer fit. Not because they disappeared, but because you changed. This is confirmation. Do not mourn what you outgrew. Celebrate what it taught you. Gratitude will keep the door closed behind you and the path open ahead. Something huge is waiting for you. My beloved child, the stability you have been longing for is forming, not as rigidity, but as reliability, where your life feels less fragile, less reactive, more grounded. Finances, work, direction, relationships, these areas will begin to respond to the internal order that has been established. Not all at once. Not perfectly. But consistently. And consistency is what builds trust, both in life and in yourself. You are allowed to move forward without explaining your healing to everyone. You are allowed to accept good things without suspicion. You are allowed to believe that this time is different because you are different. God is not testing you now. He is partnering with you. And partnership feels lighter than struggle ever did. Something huge is waiting for you. As this cycle completes, let peace become your confirmation. Let steadiness become your signal. Let clarity become your guide. You do not need constant signs anymore because alignment has become internal. You will know what to choose because it will feel right without justification. This is maturity. This is readiness. This is arrival. My beloved child, you did not miss your moment. You arrived exactly when you were meant to. What opens next will confirm everything you sensed along the way, and you will understand why the waiting had to last as long as it did. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Everything converged here. Stand tall in this understanding. Walk forward without fear. Receive what meets you without apology. The shift is complete. The direction is set. The delay is broken. It is finished. It is sealed.